to the flag of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Make it a roll call, please, Martin.
Sure. Brian.
Here.
Hi, Brian.
Lexi. Here. Justin.
Here.
John.
Here.
Jeff.
Here. Thank you. I will need a motion to approve the agenda this evening.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda. I'll second.
Brian, I.
Lexi, I.
Justin, I.
John. Jeff, aye. Motion carries. I'll open up the citizen comment now for anything on the agenda that anyone would like to address the council about.
Is this the time for just public comment?
No, just for the things on the agenda. Are you addressing something on the agenda?
I'll imagine.
Okay, thank you. Sorry.
All right, I'll close this comment at this time. I need a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
Brian, I.
Lexi, I.
Justin, I.
All right, Jeff, aye. Motion carries. Next up on the agenda, we have Rick Dickinson here from the Greater Dubuque Development Corp. Oh, Rick.
Good evening. Mayor, council members, and that excellent team here at Peosta. My name is Rick Dickinson. I reside at 205 Hill Street, Dubuque, and the president of Greater Dubuque Development Corporation. I'll be brief. I know you have a busy schedule. I'm here to say thank you for the privilege of working with you and your predecessors for many years. I'll never forget when I first came to Greater Dubuque Development Corporation. It was in 1995. One of my first phone calls at the office was a lady from Peosta. And she called to the office first. The receptionist took the call and she came in quite concerned. She said, "This lady is very mad and she wants to talk to you." And I said, "Well, we'll send her in." And so I started the conversation. "Hi, my name is Rick Dickinson. You killed my goldfish."
Oh,
I'm sorry? You killed my goldfish. "Well, ma'am, how did I do that?" "Your water killed my goldfish." And so at the end of the conversation, hung up the phone, walked out to my staff and said, "Do we have anything to do with the water system at Peosta?" And the answer was, "Yes, we own it." And within a year, we sold that water system to the city of Peosta for $1. And now you get any complaints about the goldfish. And now 30 years later, I will be stepping down from Greater Dubuque shortly after the first of the year. And I just wanted to thank you for working so closely with us, both the mayor, council, and staff, with our entire team. We stand here to be supportive of you going forward. I think economic development is about a healthy universe. Every healthy universe has a healthy sun, and the healthier the sun, the healthier the planets. And no planet has grown more in my 30 years tenure than Peosta. And that has to do with great leadership, both in the public and the private sector, and really working together in a collaborative way to make sure things happen. I urge you to stay involved with Greater Dubuque Development Corporation. That's my ask as I leave. Continue to be an investor in the organization. Use us like a rented mule. If there's something we can do for you, I know that whoever follows me and the team at Greater Dubuque Development is there to work with you. And again, I came here tonight just to say thank you for the privilege of serving you. Glad to answer any questions you might have.
no.
I'm going to go out in the cold now.
Right.
Congratulations.
Oh,
Congratulations.
thank you.
Yeah, you well deserved.
Yeah, we'll see you again probably.
Okay.
Next up, we have Community Heart and Soul on our agenda.
Oh, she brought reinforcements to this.
Nobody. With some arms, huh?
You guys all know Spencer?
Yes.
So we're just gonna give you an update on small town grants. Okay, we're gonna start with this, but there's more good things coming.
This doesn't want
Oh, the community, no. Name and address, please.
He's just kidding.
Am I?
You have to do
Pick on
that.
one, Mrs. Johnson.
Seriously.
This is just for me. Punishment I get.
So we want to just give you a little background, a little history about small town dreams as we're entering this phase. So please know that it was made possible by a donor who came to the community foundation and wanted to assist small towns in some way. So he donated $1 million. And with that $1 million, they helped 10 towns with their Small Town Dreams initiative. So that was so very successful that he gave another $1 million. And so Peosta is in the second round of this Small Town Dreams initiative. And we are also, as you already know, the second town to have completed Community Heart and Soul before Small Town Dreams. I don't know how you would do it the other way, but that's beside the point. So the map there kind of shows you an idea of all the communities in Northeast Iowa that have completed the Small Town Dreams Challenge or have accepted the Small Town Dreams Challenge. And you'll see on that map that Peosta is there. That was recently added. So our team consists of Spencer and me and Robin and Scott. You probably don't know Scott. This is Scott Oyen. Okay, he lives in my neighborhood. I told him he'd have to speak tonight. And he, yeah.
Is that like when you told Robin she had to speak?
Because she actually got real nervous. He doesn't care.
Lynn Maloney, Molly Kleesner, and Judy Knoller, Gary and Barb O'Hay are willing to go on visits, but don't really want to be part of the team because they're in and out of town and they don't really want to commit to meetings and not be able to attend. You can see there that each team member during this quiet phase, and Spencer's going to tell you a little bit more about the quiet phase. Each team member is going to meet with 5 individuals and 3 businesses. And we're going to kick that off yet this year because we want people to be able to take advantage of the Iowa tax credit, the Endow Iowa tax credit. You guys familiar with that? Okay. You'll see our goals listed there. Now, these are kind of lofty, but we would like, communities are given 3 years to accomplish this, and we would like to complete it within 18 months. And so you'll see the quiet phase, raising 150,000. We would like to have completed by June of 2026. Scott feels very strongly about that. The next phase, an additional 112,000, an additional 9 months after that. Second community phase, an additional 112,000, 9 months after that. And then the challenge will be completed. We will have raised 375,000. The donor will match 75,000 for a total of 450,000. And then that little chart there kind of shows you an example of how payouts will when and how they will start. And you will see that payouts don't begin until 2027. And they'll start out small depending on the what's the word?
It's the average return based on the balance.
Balance. That's the word I was looking for, based on the balance. So you can kind of see there how that'll start paying out. Any questions on that part? Okay, we have some materials to share with you.
Got a lot of good materials.
Yeah, we do. Oh, I forgot to give you one. Oh, I gave you one.
You pass them on already?
Yep, I will.
So what Denise is passing out is basically going to be our presentation that we're going to be utilizing when we go to meet the people in the community, businesses, residents as well too, more or less just informing them about what we're looking to do. And basically what that is we're looking to establish an endowment fund. So as Denise was mentioning, Community Heart and Soul was the first phase that we did. The second phase is Small Town Dreams. We're literally kicking off as we speak right now. Just to kind of go through the information that's in front of you, because it is a lot, but it's a lot of good information. The main, I don't know what to call it, the main
Case statement. Yeah.
just a little bit about who we are, what we're looking to do. So I can certainly read through it. But I think it's important just to note that that front page there. So, the Peosta Today's Tomorrow Together Endowment Fund. We're committed to Peosta's future. That's why we're launching it, Peosta Today Tomorrow Together Endowment Fund, a permanent resource designed to protect what we value and invest in what's ahead. The initiative isn't just about raising money, it's about creating a lasting impact that enriches our quality of life and sense of belonging. I think a lot of people in Peosta can relate to that statement there. We're a smaller community, but we're a close community. Inside, first page there, you'll see our value statements. Again, this was information that was gathered from Community Heart and Soul, basically looking at what those strategic initiatives are going to be. This is going to be our moral compass as we continue to navigate this endowment fund and being able to give back to our community. This other pamphlet here is something that was already put together. We just made it
A little larger.
a little larger, easier to see.
It was very small.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That action plan, and that was basically all the information again that was covered from Community Heart and Soul. Before I go any further, does anybody have any upfront questions? Okay. So as Denise was mentioning as well too, this is endowment funds. There are a few pages that make up that 3-year timeline. That I'm hoping that we're going to set a record here in Peosta and knock this out a lot sooner than that. But what we're starting right now is the quiet phase, where we're going to be going out, reaching out to individuals, businesses, and having those personal one-on-one conversations, more or less to educate them, but seeing where we might be able to align with some support. That first target goal is $150,000. Once we reach that $150,000 target, it's unlocking $25,000 that will go to the endowment, and then $15,000 for grant making that we'll be able to utilize and tap into right away. And this is where the city comes into play. How can we work together? How can we find out what we can utilize that $15,000 to from the information that we gathered from Community Heart and Soul, and see if we can get things accomplished together. Once that quiet phase is done, then we start the first stage of the community phase. That target goal is $112,500. Again, once we reach that goal, another $25,000 goes to the endowment fund, and then another $10,000 available to us right away for grant making. And then onto that one, $112,500, the final target goal, and then $25,000 goes to that endowment. So in this endowment raising process, we're going to have $75,000 that will go to the endowment and $25,000 that we'll be able to put directly back into our community. The total dollar amount then would be $450,000. Once we reach that goal, it basically becomes sustainable for life. From there, on an annual basis, we'll be able to grant out anywhere between $20,000 to $25,000 to the community, and depending on how crazy we get with raising those funds, and above 450,000, we get to $1 million. It's based on the percentage of that fund balance that we get to grant out. So it could be more than $25,000 annually. It depends on what that fund balance gets to.
And I'll just share with you that in Manchester, they completed their goal some time back, but the community is seeing the effects, and they see things that are happening, and so they're constantly giving to it. I forget exactly what the total was they've collected, but anyway, they're still paying into it because they're seeing things. So this first 15,000 that Spencer's talking about, we're excited to get something done right away, like next spring. That's the reason we met with Parks and Rec, so that we might get something. And it doesn't have to be trails. It could be something else that people wanted, but something else right away, so people see what we're doing and then want to give.
Some of the logistics side of things, just to share. So we're working closely, obviously, with the Community Foundation of Greater Butte. Basically, these funds are going to be invested with them, but strictly for the community of Peosta. They stay with us. They don't go anywhere else. They're basically managing those funds for us. Amanda Deers is basically our coordinator type person, acting kind of as like our fiscal sponsor or whatever. She's going to be with us through this entire process to help guide us as we continue to accomplish each phase and everything. And then once that endowment's been established, continue to support us long term. You know, she's going to be able to help us, assist us with making grants. It's going to allow us to be also to apply for grants, which is going to be a great benefit to the community as well too, is having a resource to apply for certain grants, which I know is challenge
There's a good
given
many.
our makeup here in Peosta. So on the back page there, it just kind of shows the different giving levels that we have listed there. So also has information on like different ways, you know, people, businesses are able to make a donation. We have a QR code there that people can scan as well too. That will take you directly to our link on the Community Foundation's website. So if people want to make a donation that way, they certainly could. Contact information listed below as well too for Denise. She is our community coordinator, as you know, and then Amanda Deers, and Small Town Dreams Advisor. A lot of information I just threw at you. What questions do any of you have?
I told you they were quick learners.
Yeah.
Good questions. I just think this is fantastic.
Yes.
It will be.
Yes.
It will be.
Thank you guys.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Appreciate all of you to chip in.
We've seen a lot of work out of you.
Yeah.
The team.
We're very excited. And hopefully we, like I said, set a record for raising these funds and things like that. And obviously looking to see where, you know, the city can come into play and work hand in hand and help support. So looking forward to have those additional conversations as well too. But we appreciate you giving us the time to present to you, and any additional questions you have or anything like that, reach out to myself or Denise.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Great work. Thank you.
Next up, we have the PEDC monthly report.
Why I sat down.
Name and address, please.
Juliana, something or
Yeah, no. We keep the riffraff
Yeah.
on.
So just a quick update here. As you know, we have been working with Wendy Knight. And we've had our second session with Wendy Knight in regards to the strategic planning, looking at what the future looks like for Peosta, economic development, what basically aligns most for our future and everything. And then, as you know, next Wednesday, we do have a joint work session with the city. For the record, I got off from Dartford, so I will be there, which is good.
You think we're having it in Dartford?
Yeah, I don't know. Jack will go for that. We might need some cocktails afterwards though, but so yeah, that is what we're looking forward to. Last I heard is that the majority of them are going to be there, so it should be a good turnout, so we all can have some good productive conversations, more alignment from the city and from economic development, and continue to provide resources to the city, community, and see what this looks like moving forward.
Great. Thanks, man.
Thank you.
Thanks, Spencer.
Next up, we have HR committee report. Nothing to report except for we will be having a meeting in the near to close to near future.
Yes, nicely stated.
I've got nothing else on the council. I will open it up then to citizen comment at this time. Would like to approach the council about anything besides the agenda.
So I don't really know the appropriate thing, but I give my Mr. Mayor, council members, and thank you for letting me have a moment to speak. So
I will ask you to give your name and address.
yeah, my name is Edward Kuhar, and I had cards put out for everybody that has that information on it. So, but I live in Cedar Rapids, Iowa.
Okay.
And that's not on there, but 4800 Black Ivy Court,
Okay,
Northeast Cedar Rapids, Iowa,
thank you.
52411. So, but I work on railroad crossing safety. I've been working in the railroad industry since the late 80s, and I started working on locomotives, traction control, anti-lock braking, total locomotive control, worked with the railroad systems along the wayside with Union Switch and Signal in Pittsburgh. And more recently, then in 2013, I went to work with Wabtec in Cedar Rapids on positive train control. And for those that don't know, positive train control is that the signal's red and the engineer's not going to stop automatically on board. So, but PTC also stops the train for the condition that they're going over speed, over the track speed. We warn them, but they don't slow down. We stop the train. Any work zones out there that they don't have permission to go through, PTC will stop the train for that. And it'll also stop the train if the switch is in the wrong position because it knows the route they're supposed to take. So I worked for about 8 years there in Cedar Rapids, and for the last 5 years then I've been independent, almost 5 years, and I've been independent and working on railroad crossing safety. We were not able at the time to figure out how to protect the vehicles and the pedestrians in the railroad crossings because we couldn't stop the train there. Well, we figured that out. I figured that out. And so I started an effort to contact all the State Department of Transportations. I contacted the Federal Highway Administration, Federal Railroad Administration. We had to go through the senators to get there, but it took about 4.5 years to get our meeting on the 27th of March this year with the FRA. And then the FRA gave us some parameters that reduced our crossing safety solution to not affecting the trains and not affecting the traffic across the crossings. So we can detect the obstacles in that crossing, and our system uses radar, and there's other sensors, and we'll use AI eventually. So, but not with first version. But we can also talk to the train. So we see the object on the crossing, so we see something, and then we say something. But what we say it to is positive train control. So with this CN track through here, having positive train control on it, then we will use that to stop the trains on the crossing. So I give you a quick example. So we have the radar across what they call a dynamic envelope across that crossing between the gates or belt. Yeah. And then we have sensors that look down the tracks to see the trains. And then we have 2 sensors that go on each direction of the oncoming traffic. So if someone's coming around a gate, if we know the train's in the crossing, then we see a vehicle coming towards the crossing that should be stopping but doesn't stop, then we can use warning horns to say something to them. So we see a train, we say something to the traffic. We see traffic, we say something to the train. And so the FRA told us that when we're ready, we would come to you public authorities and we would tell you what we're doing. And then when the notice of intent goes into the FRA, the State Department of Transportation people, local police, whoever needs that notice, and there's a list of people. So when that notice of intent goes in, that will draw the railroad in, and then the FRA said, we will engage with you and the railroad to discuss the solution we're going to allow in that crossing. Now, PTC is already a finished product. It's not, there's nothing to do on it. So it's already basically proven and approved. It's just that when we told the FRA that we have the solution, we didn't tell them exactly how it's done. It wasn't appropriate to tell them at the time. So what they said is, when you guys want your crossings protected, you'll send the notice of intent into the railroads get it too. So CN would get it in your case. And then they have 60 days to respond to the notice that you would like to have crossing safety put on the crossing. Okay. And then from there, there'll be some discussion back and forth. Now, this is where I represent you guys from the standpoint of, I know what we need to do on a lot of this, and some of your people do too, but you wouldn't know the system itself. Okay. So what I decided, being out of Cedar Rapids, is I decided that we want to do a project on the UP south of Cedar Rapids and then the CN to the north. So I decided, well, Manchester to Waterloo. Well, when I talked to Manchester, they said, go to Masonville and hit all these other towns. And when we get to Masonville, they said, you got to do Earlsville. And I don't know, you guys know each other or something, because everybody keeps saying, talk to these guys, talk to these guys, talk to these guys. And so when I was talking to the CN PTC people the other day, it's a wireless radio communication from the wayside to the train. When I was talking to them, they said, well, the one main CN tower is here in Peosta. I said, okay, fine, we're going to Peosta. So 4 counties, Black Hawk, Buchanan, Delaware, and Dubuque, and then the cities along here. So basically I got from Peosta to Waterloo and down to Dubuque. But so Masonville offered to let us use their facility for everybody to come and sign their notice of on the same day, and we'd get together, and then I would help, and we'd all work together to get the right content in the letters that would be sent off to each of the different people that the letters would be sent off to. So that's a good idea, but at the same time, I will still go to wherever you guys are. So if somebody couldn't make it to that meeting, then we could still get that work done. Now, I started a couple weeks ago with these other guys, so I'm just now getting to talk to you guys, but I'm further along because of that. And what I'm working on is the tools to set up that notice of intent letter. And I talked to the State Department of Transportation today, and they're giving me all the contacts of who has to be receiving that letter there. But basically, to make a longer story shorter, I'm just going to, we're all going to just put together a simultaneous response, which means within a couple of weeks of each other, probably, or a month, where we put this response into these guys, let them know that we care about the crossing safety in this area. Because for me personally, what East Palestine disaster, that Norfolk Southern wreck has just gone north of $1 billion for one accident. And all you have to do is derail a train, and it only takes a rock truck in Missouri to wreck an Amtrak train. It doesn't take much to wreck a train. And like the U.S. Senator Jim Risch from Idaho said, we got to get this done before the terrorists figure out how easy it is to wreck a train. And so I'm working on that. My job is the technology and to represent that technology, but the project is massive. Everybody's got to play their role, and I'm just saying you guys can play along if you want to, or when you're ready, or whatever.
So when you asking or kind of saying everyone a letter of an intent, what does that mean? Give me a 5-word response to that.
A notice.
Just kidding.
These first 3 words don't count. The notice of intent are just to tell the railroads and the FRA that we intend to put this crossing protection on the crossing in our town.
Okay. And at what cost and to whom?
Okay. So
You can see I'm kind of a.
no, this is really.
We got the background. Now we need to know the details.
Right. Okay. So we've been working on this. So the Chrissy grant funds, the Consolidated Rail Infrastructure Safety, I think it's initiative or whatever. They're federal grants that go down to the state, got divided by formula, and that money's sitting there that can be requested in a grant window. And I think that window is in February. So there is one right now that's open up until January 7th, but I think it's more for city to city, train communication or travel. The grant is an 80% grant with the 20% match. So we care about the 20% match, right? So the 20% match is, the way I look at it is the public citizens have already purchased they pay taxes and they've already purchased their insurance in case they have an accident. So the insurance companies have the greatest kickback because we're going to stop claims leakage. We're going to prevent accidents from happening. And they don't have any skin in the game. So we're working to get the insurance companies and the self-insured trucking companies and these guys to pitch in to help cover the 20% match. The other thing is we have a 501c3 nonprofit called Community Contributors Incorporated that people could pitch into. It's as long as the law allows a 501c3 to give money to cities and counties and these guys to cover that 20%, then that would work. But if that, because I'm not a lawyer, I don't know that. We would call it Community Contributors Incorporated because we want to contribute to the community. And I think this is a perfect example of something that could do that. So then we actually all have to come together because even on the federal monies, they figure it's less than 20% of even though there's billions of dollars put aside for this, they figure it's less than 20% of what is actually going to be needed. And so I've seen some estimates of like $10 billion nationwide. And so
if the lines don't, the stars don't align and the insurance companies don't kick in and there's no money there, what would be the cost to the city?
Okay, so yeah. When we send in this notice of intent, it will go to the railroads. The project will fall under the railroads guidance. And so we can't exactly tell them what to give us in a cost proposal that has a safety package there. But we got to help them because they don't even know about it yet. CN doesn't even know about it yet. So we are going to discuss with them and put the package together, but the cost proposal will come from the railroad itself. So
At what point are we committed?
Oh,
We signed the letter of intent.
No commitment, because what the railroad comes back is they come back with the cost proposal, and if you don't like the number, you just say, we're not doing that.
The railroad's not going to do anything without letters of intent from the cities.
Yeah, because the railroads do not consider the safety crossing their responsibility, the safety on it. They don't consider it's the highways, which kind of surprised me. But so that's when we went to the Federal Highway Administration, we turned down. So the FRA knows they're waiting for us to come with the railroads to do this. But we got to want it and we got to ask.
So we signed a letter of intent. We go along, we find 6 months, year down the road, we find it's going to cost us $500,000 to do this. We say, too rich for our blood. No, we're fine.
Yeah.
If we sign that letter, we have no obligation to follow through.
Yeah, it's not a commitment. And so there's a few pain points in addition to this. The second pain point that we find that you guys have is, well, we don't really understand the technology, so we don't even know really what we're asking for. Well, the FRA and the railroads working with us will define that final package because they are going to have a say so, and they will never allow something to be installed that isn't thoroughly tested. They're thoroughly convinced. And the railroads, neither one. Railroads will never allow it either. So that's another protection for you because those guys will make sure of it. Now, we can make these crossings safer with bells and whistles and a few other things, but the FRA told us no. And the reason why is because they get over 200,000 calls a year of complaint on crossings, and they don't want any more. But there's things we can do though, because we see the train and we can see what the traffic's doing coming up to it. So we can also notify them either visually or audibly with like warning horns. And these are already off the shelf available technology. But the reason why in the end we're going to go to, this is kind of a distraction though. The reason why we're going to go to AI sensors and this and that later on is because we don't want to stop a train for a cat. Any cat lovers here, sorry. But we have to be careful. So, but it's gonna go through a process and they'll give you a number. Now, people don't like it when I say this, but the 6 sensors that go on the crossing with the wires to connect them. So from an OEM standpoint, that's only $6,500. It really doesn't have to be that expensive. So I've already taken pictures of your crossings, and the county, but I only went to the edge of town here. So if the PTC radio towers, that control point is close by, then we have to trench conduit and wire from that control point to that crossing. Okay, so if you guys have done any trenching work with conduit and wires and a few of that, and that's the kind of cost you're going to see. And then you're going to see the sensors, like at $6,500 a package for them. I don't know what the warning horns are. I don't know any lights would be there, but we have a couple of, there are going to be some rectangular towers that are one on this corner of the road, one on that corner of the road, and they'll be like 7 foot tall is my guess. And they will hold the radars that will aim. We're going to aim the radars from that. And then they can also have the warning horns. And then for the crossings like out in the counties, then the solar will come out the top. And then in this, we call it a cool zone tower. We call it a cool zone, our brand of crossing protection. And it'll go there, and then the batteries will go there, and then the solar will come out the top so that it's just self-powered applications. So basically, then in Boise, I spent a lot of time in Boise. You see that on my card there. In Boise, we're putting in a demo system. We're building a demo system because rather than us saying what it is, we're ready now to say, okay, we'll show you. And so this process, it has begun, but if nobody wants it, nobody's gonna ask. But if you want it, you have to ask. And then that'll start the process to prove it. And then like Blackout County, their engineer says, I don't see this. I don't see it work. And everybody wants to see it work. Correct. So we're gonna, the sensor guys called me 2 days ago and said they want me out there in about 2 weeks to put together the demonstration. Let's start testing. So I told them I don't think I'll be there quite that quick because I'll finish up with the guys here on the CN track here in Iowa. So anyway, right now I'm rounding up the addresses, contact information for all the notice of intents for everybody that has. What I need from you guys, there's a few pieces of information, and I'll send out an email we need a contact person for you as a public authority. And then it wants the law enforcement on those crossings to also be notified. So whoever they are in the city, in the county, whatever, if you guys help me gather that information, then I'll plug it in and it'll make it really easy to use the notes of intent. It won't take long. So I'm already working on it, and I think I'll be ready like the week after this Thanksgiving week. So like toward the end, maybe Thursday of next week or so. Now, some people say they can't get all their decisions made because they have to have another council meeting or whatever before to get the final, we'll do it in place. And then And then that means that about the 15th to the 17th of December, in that time frame, then we could finalize the second group that haven't had their meetings yet. And I'm sorry, I didn't come to you guys earlier, so that's why, you know, if I'd come a couple weeks earlier, you'd have it a little more fun, but, okay. But anyway, that's what I'm doing, and,
Annette, you're elected as our contact person.
And that's a good thing because we've already connected.
There we go. So you got it. And then you were talking to the chief, so.
that's for ongoing, that's ongoing communication.
You bet.
I got yours.
Yeah.
You give me.
I will give you a card.
Yeah, give me your card and then I will, so like, I am with some family. My wife's or my son's girlfriend is from Dyersville. So when I talked to them up there, they all knew the family.
Oh,
Yeah, so very good. And so then we'll put you in as, but we need the county. Are you county or just city?
It's just city.
Right, so we are gonna also do county, but if you guys know these people or can forward.
Yeah, I can connect you
Right.
with that information in email.
So I promised an email and I was gonna send the information, but I looked through it and it's a little outdated already, so I'm updating. And I will forward that on and then you guys make your decision one way or another, it's fine.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry, I took so much time, but.
Yeah, man, maybe you have any?
I mean, I don't think there's a problem signing the letter.
No.
As long as there's no,
Not locked into anything.
right, so we don't know what the cost is gonna be.
Right.
So if we can bail,
We did this with the quiet intersections.
We did.
before.
Yeah.
I
For
mean,
the
we
quiet
signed a
zone.
letter of intent for that.
then we back down because.
We backed up because they couldn't.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think.
Usually it's legally referred to as a non-binding letter of intent. So if it says it that way, we'd be fine.
Okay, thank you, Brian. Yeah, so I think that's the discussion. I think we're okay with signing a letter of intent.
Okay, so you want me to put non-binding on that?
Yes, that would be great.
Okay,
Got you. All right. Any other questions for Ed while he's here? Nope. Okay. Anyone else who would like to approach?
Eric Osterman, 8141 Calvary Street, Peosta.
Hello.
Hey, I got two quick comments. I'm not sure on the second one if it's like just comments or it's a first one. So the first thing I wanted to bring up was Mia Drive. The other day, somebody mentioned that there's an access to the parking down there, and I've been here 15 years. So since then, I've talked to my friends who walk, bike and everything, and it's brought up, and of over 15 people I talked to, nobody knows that you have parking down there and that there's an access to the park. So I wanted to bring up that I think the town should consider putting a sign at the end of Mia Drive, and I'm not talking where the houses are, nobody likes a sign on their yard. But across the street, there's no houses, it's commercial or agricultural. I think that it would be good for the town to put a sign, just directing down that way, indicating that there's a park entrance and parking. Because most of the people I know, when we run or walk, we turn at that last street in that development because nobody wants to go to a cul-de-sac and turn around. And most of us thought it was for future housing development down there. You can't really see the stripes. So the town has done a great job with the park in the last, it's really gone much better. But I thought it was a shame. Nobody seemed to know that you had a parking area down there with a trail into the park. And I thought maybe I'd bring up such a simple thing that you could put a sign up and it really wouldn't bother any residents because the other side you have the storage area, the electrical area. There's got to be a place you can just say, hey, entrance to or whatever. Which kind of leads me to the second comment or question is I'm a little bit confused and I don't know all the details, but I have a son I have family over in Pro Fix Apartments. And I'm a bit perplexed because that's a street with painted lines. on the middle of it. And yet you have a lot of residential homes there, so to speak. And the developer was not required, or nobody put in sidewalks. So you have people walking dogs or jogging along what I would call a mixed commercial road. None of you would really walk along Birds Road in the street or Peosta Street at night or the early morning or even during the day. And I'm perplexed why nobody told, if the developer built the road or we built the road, that sidewalks for all those were never a consideration. If you go through there, you see quite a few people walking their dogs and everything. It's a mix of commercial and residential, which is the other bigger part. But the big thing is it has yellow lines down the middle. So I've always felt that any road with yellow lines down the middle should have a sidewalk at least on one side. So I don't know if it's too late for what the town can do, but I know sidewalks are costly. So I'd also want to just throw out the idea, maybe on one side of the road, the town could paint a pedestrian walkway. That would at least give some sense of safety to people using that street when they walk. I don't understand it. I'm not trying to complain too much, but it seems like an odd oversight to build a mixed commercial residential road with high traffic and the plan.
Yeah, and that was previous to, I think, just about everybody on this. And it wasn't required. It is now a requirement.
That's good.
Going
I was
forward.
just saying, I thought sidewalks
Just
are
to give it
expensive.
yeah.
It came up because of your letter. A lot of them, which also led to me coming up. A lot of us never went to the park because none of us wanted to walk. Or, it's not, they shoot up and down there, and it's limited visibility. I mean, like me, I run in early mornings or late at night, so I kind of keep it safe. So I just didn't know, I'd bring up the idea of maybe painting if it works with the road. You've seen them, pedestrian walkways, just so it at least gives white lines where with a little symbol once in a while so that drivers, it gives people, hey, walk over here type of thing. That's all.
Yep.
Thank you.
Great. Thanks, Eric.
I'm good to go.
Okay, yeah.
Hi.
Hey, Ed. Go.
Oh, yeah. I would have been back. Thank you. Not sooner enough. Yeah.
Alex Wolf, 650 Amara Court. I had more of a question. I don't know if this is the time or place, but another accident on Cox Springs Road this afternoon. It hit close to me. It was my sister-in-law who was 40 weeks pregnant. I'm wondering what role the city has in any kind of decisioning around how that is playing out. And if there is a plan, if the city does have any sort of role.
We actually had sympathies that your sister-in-law was involved. I hope everything goes okay. It is a DOT area, so it is a decision based on the DOT. But we actually, after the accident today, just some casual discussion, about what could or couldn't be done with the chief. So it's been on our radar, and every time there's another one, we go, okay, what can we do? What can we do? And we are somewhat limited from the city standpoint because, again, that corridor is controlled by the Department of Transportation. Now, their long-term plan, unfortunately, is slow moving. So, I mean, some of what they've done, they added the lane here, they added the turning lane. That's a Band-Aid for a symptom. So, so we are aware, we will reach out again to the DOT. They'll know they're doing a traffic study on that corridor. Right. So this will add into their tally, I guess is the best way to put it. But we're very limited on what we can or can't do there. So but we definitely are aware that it is a problem and hopefully we can come up with some sort of a solution.
If we had our way, we'd shut it down and figure out how to do some sort of a on-ramp. If we could just do it.
I do think it's something that you could definitely reach out to them on as well with concerns from the public.
As many people can write letters, emails, would be great.
Yeah.
To the DOT.
To the DOT.
Alex, if you want to give me your
State
email,
representative.
or I can give you a card, I can give you all that information.
Yeah.
Okay. And do we have any control over Cox Springs itself, or is that all?
We just had a conversation about that. We don't know as far as what we can and can't do. Right? Is that fair to say?
That's fair to say. Yep.
And how is there next steps on that, on figuring out what?
This was very casual conversation this evening. There's no steps.
See, Cox Springs and the highway it's a DOT area. How far back we can go on Cox Springs, that's the question. That's where we're looking into it.
Okay. Thank you.
We know we're where, and we want to do something.
Yes.
100%.
Alex, you wanna go ahead?
I know, it's.
We're gonna reach back out to us too for follow-up and for additional information.
We'll do.
But I'll get you that contact information tomorrow, okay?
Thanks.
Thank you. Anyone else like to approach the council this evening? I will entertain a motion to adjourn then. I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Brian, I.
Lexi, I.
Justin, I.
Jeff, aye. Motion carries. We're adjourned. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate you coming.
Ryan. Safe travels coming home.
Oh, he's gone. He's gone.